Now let's talk about how to build and deploy a SAM application using the SAM command line tools. So we're in our Shouter application again. The command to package up a SAM application is SAM package. Here we're going to go ahead and do this. When you package it, it's going to actually zip up all the files and send them to an S3 bucket. You'll have to define what that S3 bucket is. And in this case, I've got the name of my S3 bucket in an environment variable called S3 bucket. So I will go ahead and put that here. Now we see we call SAM package, and then we're going to define a output template file. That's the file that will be produced by the packaging that can be used by the deployment command. So here we go. It's packaged the artifacts and wrote a new package file. So let's see. See, there's a package.yaml there. Let's take a look at that. So this looks a lot like the template.yaml we began with. But notice that the code URI now is in an S3 bucket instead of locally. So when the deployment is called, it's going to be called referring to the code in this S3 bucket. So here's our S3 bucket, and we can see this is the code we just uploaded. If we take this and download it, we have to change the extension to do that. We can see it actually just contains what was in our original application. Now, if we want to deploy the function, we use SAM deploy, and this is what the command is going to look like. Notice we're using the packaged file YAML that we just produced from the package command. AWS has the idea of a stack, which is a group of resources that are treated as a unit, and it's really useful for not leaving dangling resources if you need to delete something, or just maintaining resources. The capabilities argument will allow the deployment to create a IAM role that the Lambda will need to use. So this is how the deploy works. This is how the deploy works. So while we're waiting for this to happen, we can go ahead. Stacks are in the CloudFormation surface area. So you can see this is where stacks would be. So this is our stack, and you see it says create in progress. We can look over here and see resources that are being created. There's our function, and this is the role that we allowed to be created for it. So it looks like it's still creating some permissions and things. So it's still in progress. Once it's created, we should be able to find it here in the applications. So now the create is complete. We can go to the Lambda Management Console, go to Applications, see our application. And we see down here that it has an API gateway and the Lambda itself. If we go to the API gateway, we can open the endpoint, which we still need to add our full route. We have an internal server error, which means it probably hasn't deployed yet. Well, if we have an error like that, we probably want to know what happened. So let's go back and look at the logs. So the SAM command line tool lets you look at the logs for your functions. And so you see here, SAM logs is the command. We have the name of the function and the name of the stack. So it says task timed out. Oh, I see. We must have left some remote PDB code in from our debugging session, and that's what's killed our app. So we could then fix our app and redeploy it, and we'd see it in the Lambda function section.